Attention to the talk. What's going on, boys? This is the talk. We are back. This is episode 2 of the new show coming from this wild group of gentlemen. Man, episode 1 was awesome. I had a great time doing it. We are back for episode 2. Kind of start catching our stride, hopefully, a little bit. But guys, welcome in. We got Evo in the middle there, Coop on the right. I am Sleeveless Mike. I am pumped for the talk today. I am not going to say talk 100 fucking times in the intro like I did in episode 1 because we're going to try to make improvements as we go along. But guys, how we doing? How we feeling? Are we ready to do some hard work like that little intro song says?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good to go, man. I got a little Jack and Coke here. I had to update your name, Coop. It wasn't.
I see that.
So,
Thank you.
Just having Coop. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm ready. I'm stoked to have another good chat with y'all and to see how you guys have been.
Yeah, super pumped to get back on here. I had to change the environment though, because it has been hot as shit outside, and my garage is smoldering. Like literally, the devil's anus out there. It's so bad. So other than that, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready to talk, shoot the shit, bullshit.
Nice.
Yeah, same. So it has not been super hot here. It has been humid as fuck because I live right next to Lake Erie. I assume it is also hot and humid down in your neck of the woods, Matt. Probably hot, probably not humid out where Evo is. But yeah, I mean,
when I got back from Ohio last week, we got off the plane and we were like, it's the same heat and the same humidity as back in Ohio. Like when I stepped out in Tucson. So I was like, what the fuck is this? But we were getting hella rain up there. Apparently we just missed like golf ball size hail and stuff like that too, which I noticed, having an aviation background. I was like, we're doing a really weird landing right now. Something's wrong. and so I was all perked up and we were avoiding apparently like a horrible storm from Hillary or something like that being pushed our way.
Yeah, the storms have been super. Yeah, me too. Agreed. But the storms have been super bad across the country, man. We had fucking tornadoes here in Ohio. There was a tornado in downtown Cleveland, like in the buildings. Tornado, like fucking wild. There's a video of it floating around there somewhere on the internet. I did not bring that video for us today though, so I'll try to find that. But yeah, it's been fucking brutal. Tornado sirens went off at the house, scared the shit out of Amber. The kids slept right through it because they're fucking savages. Especially Graydon, but
is Amber used to tornadoes or been around them before?
I think a little bit just because she lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere in Wyoming. So I think she's got a little bit of experience, but maybe not as much experience as being here, Tornado Alley. Even though we're close to the lake, there's still a lot of fucking tornado activity where we're at.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy out here with the tornadoes and stuff. Like, so when we first got here, the first time we heard a tornado siren is going off, I'm like, so what are we supposed to do? Like, should we just stay in the house or, come and find out?
You didn't have them up in Michigan?
What's that?
You didn't have tornadoes up in Michigan?
Not that, like maybe a bad storm, but.
I mean, we got them in Minnesota.
We every once in a while. It was never that bad. Although there was one that touched down this weekend in like my mom's old trailer park, literally just decimated the whole entire trailer park because it was bad. But no, we don't really have any. I mean, there are a lot of people have storm shelters out here. We don't. Yeah. We should probably get one.
That I'd consider it. I was the type of guy that was like, as soon as the sirens went off, I was in the backyard like looking. I'm like, where is this thing? It was like instead of seeking shelter, I'm like, I want to see it. Because I mean, I saw Twister with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. I was like, yeah, I want to go throw some little robots in this thing and get some science going.
Have a drink, and he chucks the bottle into the Twister, and it never hits the ground. I love it.
I mean, I've been saving my Pepsi cans ever since I watched that show. So,
yeah, so I always out there looking for him, but I guess I felt like in an invulnerability complex because like we had a basement. We actually had 2 levels, like one level that was half below ground and one that was fully below ground in my house I grew up in. So we for sure would be able to be down deep enough and against a wall where it's like if things went really awry, we'd probably be all right.
So, how much food and water did you keep down there though?
None.
Because like what happens when the house just collapsed on top of you And then
let's hope that
I
the
chew
fucking
my way
show
out.
up and get me out of there.
Yeah,
maybe.
I
mean,
chew my
shoot.
way out with my teeth. I just chew through the wood.
House falls on top, then everything starts to flood. Now you got to drown.
Well, then you got your water situation figured out, at least.
Maybe.
Yeah, just drink
No,
that.
you ain't drinking that water, man. That's all the sewage and everything
Do you
else.
have
that came
any
through.
idea how bad that would taste and how much you would shit if you lived through that?
Delicious.
Well, I mean, I remember deployment. So yeah, I remember the shit.
It'd be a good talk story.
It'd be like when the Hajis come to flush the fucking the blue water.
Yeah. Oh. Ugh. All right, boys. Well, let's get today's show started with. Let's talk about what we're having to drink. Matt, what do you got there in that cup that you were just drinking out of?
Got some Makers today. So just
Maker's Mark.
sipping a little Maker's Mark.
Nice. I'm going with a can of Jack and Coke, which I'm glad that they're selling these again here in the States. Like last time I had one of these was in Germany, a can of Jack and Coke, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. So I'm glad that we got those now.
Very nice. Very nice. I am drinking another Simply Spiked lemonade. However, instead of having just one big beer this time, I did bring down a 6-pack. We'll see how many I make it through. I am also going to partake in some medicine. Oh, man. One left. Yummy. And then we can get this fucking show just get started. So do we have a video that we wanted to start with or any stories that we wanted to start with? Because if you guys got something particular, let me know.
Going with the drinking theme, and last time I had a nice tall Busch Light, I found a video that kind of reminded me. It almost looks like Coop here if he had been consuming a few too many Busch Lights. Absolutely. So we'll get this popped up here.
Oh fuck yeah! Matt is way too big for this.
Spider-Man.
This man ain't small.
That is a big dude.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Ric Flair said, if you can't beat the man, you gotta beat the man.
Come on. Let's go. Yeah!
Good Lord. Who made that?
Oh, the TV comes out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Man.
All right.
That is one.
I know we've all had some good times like that. I know I've gotten on things I shouldn't when I'm drunk.
Yeah. What was her name?
No comment.
Half of the women that I've slept with. I don't.
Right. And half the dudes.
Well, obviously the dudes I regret. But you know, it is what it is. Every once in a while, you gotta take a dick.
Right.
But no comment.
Yeah. The size of that man.
Evo's still in once in a while.
Every 4 to 5 inches at a time.
Yep.
But that man is fucking. He was big. He did not look that large when he was up there because you don't think a guy that fucking big can get up and be Spider-Man with a Busch Latte box on his head. I am actually impressed.
That's not
that it goes to show you the state of construction of objects these days. Yeah. You are normally their shit. That is a sturdy built TV cabinet. That's got to be from like the 70s or 80s or something like that. Yeah. Back when American Grit really made good quality items.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was I'm actually more curious on the video of him getting up there. Like, how did he get up? Because the clearance was very limited.
You didn't see a chair or anything.
Mm-hmm. No, very well taken.
Yeah.
And then what did the people below? Because he could have. I mean, that's obviously a hotel room, right? So
sure
people below him probably thought a tornado was coming through.
Mm-hmm. That Motel 6
I thought he was
almost
going to break
destroyed.
his ankle.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to break his ankle the way he fell because he didn't quite hit the bed. I was like, that man is too large.
It was not a 10.
Recency bias, Mike.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
All righty. So who's got one to get us kicked off, though, otherwise? That was just a little I
actually have a story. I have a story to get us started off, and it kind of goes with that. Like doing dumb shit, right? Because that's a lot of what that video was. And we've all been there. We've done a lot of dumb shit in our day. Man, did I do some fucking dumb shit last week. So last week, when I say me and my wife, Amber, we started to do like all of our anniversary stuff. It got canceled in July. Our anniversary is July 30th, but I was in the hospital recovering. I was still carrying around a bag of piss in my fucking,
That's weird.
on my hip. Yeah, it was awkward because I still had the, Jesus Christ, I forgot the name of it. The thing that came out of my dick. What's it called?
Like
Catheter.
Catheter.
Yeah, I know you were thinking colostomy bag or something like that.
Yeah, I was. I almost had colostomy bag come out of my mouth, but so I had a catheter. So I'm not walking around with a bag of piss on my anniversary with my wife. I want to enjoy it, right? So we go out last week. We're gonna do a concert. We go to OAR and Goo Goo Dolls. But before that, we go to the casino. We gamble. We make a bunch of money. It was great. We go to a Guardians game. They fucking lose. We go to a very nice dinner. Like everything about the day was awesome. But I knew that night I was going to want to have an edible. And I was going to want to enjoy that concert because OAR is a jam band. Fucking that's made for edibles, right? But we did all of that other shit throughout the day. And our bag that for that night, because we stayed in a hotel, sat in the fucking car all day. And it was hot. And I had an entire tin full of edibles that sat in a hot car all day and melted together. So it's just one giant gummy.
That sounds great, though. You just slice little pieces off like a brick of cheese.
And it's a surprise on how much you're getting.
Absolutely.
Correct. So I was like, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to do. I can't just waste all of this gummy. I'm going to take a bite of it. But I'm going to take a bite small. I'm going to take a small bite about the same size as a normal gummy would be, and it's going to be fine. There's no way anything crazy could happen. Holy fuck, was I wrong. I was so goddamn high. I don't know if I ate basically all the THC in that one fucking bite. It was, dude, I have never been that messed up in my entire life. I was spatially disoriented. OAR was in my lap. However, my water that was right in front of me, miles away, could not reach my goddamn water. That's how far away it was. That's how absolutely high I was. I still ended up having a pretty good time. Like the music was great, but every once in a while, I'd just kind of look. One of these fucking things. I had to look outside of the venue because it was an outdoor venue at something that I knew wasn't fucking moving like a tree so I could figure out where I was at in the space.
All right.
Oh my God. It was great concert. OAR was
still
awesome.
Have a majority of that left?
No, Amber threw it away. She's like, "You're dumbass. We'll take another bite."
This is too dangerous.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you should have.
That's what we needed
because
tonight.
that's like for like special occasions. Like it's a secret surprise gummy. You don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, maybe it's nothing. Idea. Maybe it's you're going, to Fantasyland.
Yeah, it was.
It was
a lot. It was It was so much. It wasn't until OAR got done and I got up and left the concert, like to go take a piss in between the two sets, that I started to finally feel better. Like I had to get up and go interact with people, and then I was much better. I'm sure the interactions were weird for everybody else. Mm-hmm. They were totally normal to me, but
I'm surprised Amber let you get up and walk away.
She went with me. She basically had me on a leash, like, "Hey, we're going to meet right here after you get done peeing."
You probably should have found one of those handicap family restrooms and went together.
Yeah. Well, it was their anniversary celebration, Coop. He would have given her a whole 3 inches in a family restroom of completely annihilated THC dick.
Yeah. So she did end up getting some dick later in the night. I don't know how good it was.
Neither does she.
Because I was still a little high.
She got a good 15 minutes of disappointment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It got hard. It got hard-ish. Dude, but yeah, I will never. If I ever have gummies that melt, if I ever have gummies that melt again, I will not eat them. I am going to be a mature adult and say, no, these are bad.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a wasteful thing. Think
It's
of the
I
Ethiopians.
also feel
Mike.
like it's a lie. I feel like it's a lie as well.
That's one of those where it's like you almost want to do that now.
Yeah.
Go
He
melt
will
another
always-
tin
he will always-
and leave them in a top
Yeah.
cupboard for you're gonna have a bad day one day and you're gonna be like, I need this.
I'm not making fucking hunch punch out of these goddamn gummies where I'm fermenting my own piss and huffing it. Like, you're talking about some crazy shit here. They're talking like prison wine type stuff.
No, I'm just talking about melting your gummies and then you get a surprise.
Yeah, not doing it. Not fucking doing it.
As someone that can't partake and won't partake in that stuff, I am
Right.
living vicariously through you. So I want you to go get fucked up on some THC gummies that happen to get turned into a brick.
Yeah.
And
Take
make
one
a
for the
video that
team.
we can play on the show.
Yeah. I figured you guys would enjoy the story since both of you have like adult style jobs and you have to
Right.
you're not allowed to partake. Whereas I do not have a real job.
We just had to live through your experiences.
Right.
Yep.
I'm lucky enough that I get to go to college for my job. And they're not drug testing. So
Though
Yeah.
I had the realization today that as a Department of the Army civilian, with my military time factored in, I realistically could retire in like 10 years or less
ooh.
at my 20. So
Yeah, but you
I
can't
could-
draw that retirement though right away, can you? With the DAC?
I think you can. I think
Can
you can once you actually officially retire from them. It's just I
I think
wouldn't be
you-
getting very much.
You are buying your time back, right?
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not like social security and that sort of stuff or whatever, but theoretically I could at 20 years call it quits and then I believe collect my retirement. I'm not positive, and I'm probably not going to quit in like 10 years.
Right.
So
Well, what do you guys think what do you guys think's going to happen with the whole marijuana and everything now that, like, I mean, we're getting to the point where, you know, most states are pretty
It's
much
legal in
You think
like
it-
35
you think it's-
fucking states.
I know. Do you think it's going to come down and finally start affecting I mean, it has to eventually be legal for government employees to
it's
they can
going
drink
to become
alcohol,
federally legal. It'll become federally legal.
At that
Government
point, I don't
employees
think it
and
can
stuff like
be.
They're going to have to come up with something like you can't be using it on the job and that sort of stuff.
Like a blow
and
test or
testing
something like that.
methodology to check that, but I don't know how that's going to
Even
work.
even if it's federally legal, you have to consider the fact that it's a lot of people still work for private businesses, and
Right.
the private business can set whatever terms of employment they fucking want. So
Well,
if a doctor's office says our doctors are not allowed, or nurses are not allowed to use THC in any fashion, you're not allowed to. It doesn't matter. Fucking pilot all the way down to the guy who works at Burger King. If Burger King says we're going to fucking drug test you, I don't care if it's legal. As part of your terms of employment, you're not allowed to work here and use THC. Then that's just the
Burger
way it
King
is.
better not do that
I
because
feel
they aren't going to have any
like-
The
employees.
Burger King will have no one.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of you would start to get in muddy water once it's federally legalized because, can they dictate? Can they really dictate what you do in your off time if they're not paying you then?
Yes. So
I mean, they
to an
can
extent.
maybe. Go ahead.
the job I
To an
had
extent.
when I moved out to Ohio,
Right.
I worked for a company that, we were doing inspections on aircraft parts. Big deal. Was never using THC. So I want to get that out there. Was not doing that until I quit my job.
If you're
and I was
flying
a
commercial, the planes are fine.
Yeah, totally.
Right,
They're
yeah.
totally good. But besides, I wasn't really cleared to sign off on all of those inspections yet. Anyways,
you're
I
flying
had
out
to
of
have somebody
Russia.
double check me. But as part of my employment and their healthcare plan, I was not allowed to use nicotine or tobacco products of any kind.
Yeah, I remember when you
And I
took
was-
that job.
I was allowed to
When you were
be
telling me
fired for
about
that.
that. Well, but was it employment? Was it fully employment or was it just the healthcare? Like, okay, you won't.
No,
get
they
healthcare.
would fire you.
Really.
They would fire you if you were using it. Yeah. And
on the
private-
job, not
Yes.
in your
Period.
off time.
No, period. They
Really?
would randomly drug test people, and that random drug test would
That's
include
weird.
the things for nicotine and the derivatives of nicotine. But you're a private business. You're allowed to set the terms of your employment.
And that's
no,
fucked
I
up
get
to
it.
me because
Yeah.
nicotine is
Agreed.
not bad for you.
No,
Nicotine is
nicotine's
good
actually
for you.
really good for you.
It's
Tobacco
really good for
is
your
bad
for
for you.
your
For the
your brain and
carcinogens in
stuff
the
like that.
tobacco. Yeah.
Right. It's all the other
tobacco.
shit in the
Right.
tobacco. Like even the tobacco leaf isn't that bad. When you burn it, yeah, you're getting a bunch of carcinogens. But when you have like your actual produced cigarette, that's soaked in all sorts of weird chemicals and
Right.
the embalming fluid,
That's
all
really
that random
risky,
shit. That's the shit that's fucking you up. But
Hey, don't talk
nicotine,
shit about embalming fluid, all right?
yeah, you can huff that shit. It's real good. But that's that Detroit candy. But
Hell yeah.
nicotine, that shit's good for your brain, man. That helps with
is.
Alzheimer's and things like that. So if they're testing specifically for nicotine, that's bullshit because you can buy nicotine supplements.
So they
Yeah.
test for nicotine because nicotine breaks down into a derivative. So it wasn't necessarily that they were testing for nicotine. It was the things that it breaks down into, because they assume people are not just buying straight nicotine. They assume people are using tobacco.
I could just envision that employer, that company just being full of just angry ass motherfuckers all the
Oh, it
time.
was.
Just
I was one of them.
disgruntled.
Basically, the entire time I was there.
You're disgruntled as it is. Take away his tobacco and
What if a
Yeah.
guy's taking one of those Nicoderm patches or nicotine gum or something like that,
Right.
you know?
Oh, right. Yeah, to get off of it, to quit. That's
Sure.
smart. It makes sense. But that's how it is, man. That's just the way it was. How you brought it up. I have actually quit nicotine. When I got in the car accident, I was a month in with no nicotine, and I haven't gone back. So I don't foresee
you.
nicotine coming back in. The alcohol has come back in. That was, I think, always going to come back. And the vitamins are not going anywhere. That's how I deal with my pain.
Yeah,
So
convenient.
yeah, actually, I have something to bring up about that. A topic for today's show doesn't include a video, but have you guys seen any new shows, movies, something that you enjoyed watching that we could tell our viewers that, hey, this movie's awesome. This show is awesome. I have one, and surprise, surprise, stick with the theme of the show so far. It has to do with drugs.
Oh. So I got one that I've recently started watching, and this is going to be it's going to end up being a little self-promotion here. So I have my gaming streaming channel that I'm going to be starting up. I mean, it's started up and I've done a couple streams, but realistically, I'm very focused on one particular game that coming out on this Thursday, and I'm going to be streaming it a fucking lot. So I've had my head wrapped around shit with space for a while. So actually I'll do two things. So there's a Netflix show, and I'm not going to remember what it's called. I think it's about the James Webb Telescope. It's just one episode of a show. It's really cool. It almost made me emotional to think about like how just like when you're like getting like thinking of the expanse of the galaxy and like how we are doing some pretty cool shit and so many people's jobs on the line of like and billions of dollars to make this telescope work. And then the images that you see afterwards are just so incredible. I mean, God, it's the pillars of creation or something like that. That picture, so
you
incredible.
have really good design artists at NASA.
That's true. They actually go into that on the show and they talk about like, people are like worried that we're, spoofing things up. They're just synthesizing the data that comes back and creating an image from it. But along with that, I've also been watching The Expanse on Amazon, which pretty fucking good. It is a show set in space sometime in the future. You've got the Earth colonies and you've got the Martian colonies, and they're basically like almost warring factions. And then you have everyone needs water. So there's asteroid miners. They mine asteroids for water, get big ass ice cubes off of it and stuff like that. And those are called the Belters because they work in the asteroid belt. And they're basically looked at as like the lowest class of citizens. And someone is trying to get Earth and Mars to go to war by killing Belters. And that's just season one. And there's
there is 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
And what is it on? Is this at Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah, but it's getting me into the mindset of space stuff with my game because I'm going to be playing Starfield come 5 p.m. Arizona time on Thursday, and I'm going to be playing a fucking lot of it. So I have been all about NASA and space and all that shit recently, and it's just scratching a little bit of an itch for me.
So
Matt, what about you, Muchacho?
So busy all the time. We don't get very much time to watch TV. We got 3 boys on 3 different football teams, and our Sherilyn's about to start basketball up this week, actually. So, but 2 shows. Well, actually, I'll say 3. One, we started watching Designated Survivor. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. It's actually from a little bit ago.
I have seen the clips for it. It looks very interesting. I like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, it is good. But I will say we're like middle way of season 2, and I feel like it's now starting to get a little bit repetitive for me a little bit. Just okay, there's another problem, another catastrophe or something, But the first season was awesome. I really enjoyed it a lot. Second one, if you haven't watched Drive to Survive on Netflix, talking about Formula One, oh, so good. Kind of drew me into that real heavy. So
awesome.
I always recommend that. But I'm watching Alone right now. Actually, they just I think Netflix just released a most recent season, and dude, I love that show. It's watching these folks.
I love Alone. The first couple seasons, I was like, I could fucking do this, and now that I'm old and broken, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
So
essentially, they take someone off in Alaska, with 12 items, and say whoever lasts the longest.
And that's it. And you have no idea how the other person's doing. You do get some items. So I think where are they at? They're in Labrador, this one. So they are, almost everyone took a bow with them this time. And they only get so many arrows, and they're trying to shoot a bear. A lot of them are like hoping to get a bear this season. So I'm like, all right, someone's going to die this season.
Yeah, somebody's dying for sure if you shoot a bear with a fucking arrow.
I know.
They do have close encounters with like bears and wolves and like mountain lions and stuff. One of the seasons, a guy shoots a fucking elk. He wins, obviously, because he's got a fucking elk.
Yeah, he's got enough meat to last the entire show.
What is it? It's like a muskox, right? This dude shoots it, right? That. Doesn't die. He jumps on it and stabs it to death. And I'm like, that dude.
What?
He won. And then he killed a second one in the same season. He killed like 2. It was insane. But this dude was straight.
I'm gonna have to check this shit out.
He eats rocks. And he built that badass shelter with all the big stones and everything. It was awesome. It's a great show.
It's a really cool show. Like you get 12 items. You're put out basically next to a shoreline, so you've got access, no better access to stuff than other people. But it's like 12 contestants spread a couple miles apart each.
And it's like in the fall. So like you have like a couple weeks where it's not completely freezing,
especially
but you
if
better
it's
get your shit together. Yeah.
Like most people, I think the winners are going like 60 days.
No, the longest was like 102 or something like that. 102 days. Or
Jesus Christ.
The mental fortitude you'd have to do that, because you got to think, once you get in there, once you get that long, you have no idea if there's one person left or 5 people left and what their mindset is, how much longer you're going to have to wait. It's not like I just have to reach this number. You're literally like, I just have to wait until someone shows up and tells me I won.
It's like, real shitty too, because every once in a while, like someone will be like doing really good. They'll be like a month in, and then they'll nick themselves with an axe. And they'll be like,
and then you I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I have to. They're given sat phones and stuff like that to call in for help or whatever.
Tap out.
But they'll be eating food or something like that, and one of the like clams or mussels that they find gives them fucking food poisoning, and they're shooting out their ass, and they're like, "Well, I'm dead. I have to call."
Yeah, I have fucking dysentery. Dysentery will kill you, by the way. All the kids who have never played fucking Oregon Trail.
And my favorite is, wake up in the middle of the night and their shelter caught on fire, and it's fucking negative 15 degrees out. So they literally have to tap out because they're going to die if they don't.
Yeah. So when you guys said it was Alaska, I immediately thought, fuck that, because I was stationed in Alaska for 4.5 years. I know what Alaska's like. They would find bodies every year, like out in the middle of the fucking woods at nowhere, or along the side of the road when they break down and it's so fucking cold. I'm not going out in the middle of Alaska.
They do Alaska, they do Canada, they do South America and Patagonia up in the mountains, shit like that. There's like 12 seasons and a couple spin-off shows from it, but it's really good.
All right.
It's definitely one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite Survivor shows so far, I think.
Okay.
I did get hooked on Survivor itself for a long time.
You can tell, like they literally have no one out there, and they start going crazy a little bit because you can tell they are
They
the
have to
ones
do all their
walking
own
around with
recording,
GoPros.
too.
Yeah, they're setting up their own GoPros and stuff like that. So
I mean, I'll watch Naked and Afraid so I can see some pixelated titties, but
I
I've
was
never really
wondering
been
if
into
you could
the.
could you actually get Naked and Afraid without the censor? Like,
I don't know.
I feel like they could make some money on that.
Premium OnlyFans channel for fucking Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid. Maybe we could start our own.
like butt ass naked and afraid.
But
I
fucking
don't
Naked
got
and
the dick
Afraid.
for that. I don't got the dick for that. I'm not.
No, not us. We're just producing it
Yeah. We're not.
because
We're
I
not gonna be
feel
the
like
stars.
the whole naked and afraid thing. I don't think they're gonna allow me to have a prosthetic dick on,
Right.
to actually look
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'll talk to Lacey. I'll see if I can get her
Right.
convinced.
All right, perfect.
All right. So, one show, one movie. I'll talk about the movie first because the show is going to take us probably down a rabbit hole. The movie, Matt, you'll like this. Elemental,
yeah.
the new animated movie that just came out.
God.
Dude, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. There's some interesting lessons in there, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. The kids liked it. That was the most important part because they just kind of shut the fuck up. That was awesome. So I liked
Right.
Elemental. Matt, have you seen it yet?
I have not and probably won't go see it.
Oh, we didn't go see it. We watched it at the house. I'm not fucking taking
Okay.
belligerent
Yeah,
assholes
no,
out in public to the theater.
We haven't seen it. I haven't. I remember when I seen the commercial for it, and I was like, okay, this is probably going to be another one of those spinoffs that Disney's trying to go woke with. But
there was a little bit of wokeness in there. There's a little. I mean, so it talks. It's 5 different groups of fucking people who are all living in a city. There's obviously going to be some undertones of certain people not being liked in there. Yeah. I don't know how you can make a movie at this point without some of that being in there, but
I'm sure once it comes out, whenever is it free right now on Disney, or do you have to?
It is not. No.
Yeah, once it gets free on Disney Plus, we'll probably end up watching it. I'm sure one of these movie nights, but so I'm sure the kids would love it. Colors and all this other crap, but it's all the underlying shit that gets to me sometimes.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of that for sure. So the other show, it's a docudrama. Netflix just came out. It's called Painkiller. It is about the opioid pain epidemic and what Purdue Pharmaceuticals was knowingly doing to the U.S. population with their pumping of Oxycontin. It is so good to watch. I have never been so angry in my entire life watching a TV show, but still enjoy it. It was awesome because everybody already kind of knows the story, right? Everybody has a little bit of an understanding of what happened with Oxycontin and Purdue Pharmaceuticals, how they're a bunch of pieces of shit. They were basically legal drug pushers and came out almost unscathed on the other side. Very
how much
minimal.
money did they make?
Oh, so they pulled $11 billion from the company before filing Chapter 11 and offered to pay $6 billion to the victims that killed.
So that's not talking about the revenue they had before that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is very good. The actors are fantastic because it is a docudrama. It is not a documentary.
All right.
It is actual actors. I don't remember the dude's name. But he's very famous. God, what the fuck's his name?
Cage.
Looks like Chris Pine. Not Nick Cage. But yeah. So excellent. It's on Netflix. There's been a lot of shit on Netflix that I've watched recently. I watched a lot of the sports stuff that they come out with. I have not watched the
Bad Sport.
I have not watched the steroids one yet because I'm going to be firmly on the side of you should take steroids. I will absolutely pump that message right here on this show of all places. Steroids make sports better. Stop fucking making them illegal.
Makes me better. Okay.
Steroids make you better.
I'm a weekly user. Okay. Let's be real.
On that Painkiller one though, I haven't watched it, but I'm going to. That sounds really interesting. But like, dude, that's our fucking nation, dude. Like,
the government was complicit in the
100%.
entire thing. But when you watch the docudrama, they're even going to lay out how the government was completely complicit and let them get off basically with a slap on the wrist.
Well, how many other drugs do you think that whole scheme applies to that's still going on? I mean, look at
All of them?
look at the damn
big pharma?
cholesterol industry with statin pills. You know what I mean? Like that alone is a fucking. You don't want to get me on that one. We don't got enough time on this show.
Matt, tell us about vaccines.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not fully against. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
And we're demonetized.
Hey,
By the way, the
go
show
ahead,
I was
Evo.
talking about earlier is called Unknown. It's like a
Unknown.
6-episode thing, but they have they go over different stuff each episode. One of them is on the James Webb Telescope.
So speaking of vaccines,
about
I'm ready to
vaccines.
share my first. I'm ready to share my first video, and I warned you guys both as we were. Nice, good push
you.
there.
You like that?
I warned you both throughout the day that I was going to cause a fucking ruckus tonight when we recorded this.
Hell
So
yeah.
this is part of that right now.
I think I've seen this one.
I miss COVID. I know.
Oh wait, hold on. Can you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can everybody else hear that? That is what I need to know.
Oh, I'm sure we all can. If we can hear it, everyone.
Share screen.
Right.
Okay,
If they
share
can't,
audio
fuck
tab. Share tab audio. That's what I need to make sure. Listen, I want to make sure that I didn't screw this up because context is important.
I miss COVID. I know. Dude, you know what I knew? There was trouble when anyone that came to our country didn't have to get a vaccine. And I go, if you're telling me I can't go to work, but everyone coming in doesn't have to get one, I go,
Well, once we found out when Fauci said, okay, I'm sorry, if you've had 2 boosters, 2 vaccines, you can get and give COVID to another guy who's had 5 vaccines and 4 boosters. What's the difference between a vaccine and a booster? I don't know, just more vaccine, but booster sounds better. Anyway, a guy with 25 vaccines would get and give COVID to another guy with 25 vaccines. That's why I'm introducing the daily COVID shot. Every day you get a shot. By the time you get to your car, you got no immunity, but it's a beautiful 39 seconds.
Okay, so that is
Ugh.
my first video. Guys, are we ready? COVID's back, baby.
Yeah, it is.
COVID's making a comeback.
Yeah,
Sure
we,
is.
we knew it was gonna. Like I said before the show, Alex Jones called this out, but anyone could have called this was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
You can expect for probably the next couple holiday seasons that you are going to be getting the gift of COVID every Christmas.
Well, I mean, we got to get those
people get-
ballots
For
back in the
sure,
mail.
every 4 years. You're going to get COVID for
Yeah,
sure
we
every
got-
4 years.
Yes,
We got to make sure we kick up those mail-in ballots, bro. It's 2024 next year.
It's true. It's true. But I mean,
Don't
everyone's
say
gonna
that
get
too
the
loud, though. You
flu.
might go to jail for conspiracy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna get the flu or get a cold, get the sniffles and stuff like that around.
Or COVID. Everybody's going to get
Christmas
COVID
time.
because it's the fucking flu.
Yes, and there's a new variant out again, less deadly than Omicron or whatever
thanks, Canada.
fucking variant that we're on. But it doesn't fucking matter. Like at the end of the day, this is just gonna keep rearing its head because the government machine has figured out how to manipulate, and it's going to be a way to manipulate just going forward. It's the look, all members of the government previously, some of us currently, the government manipulates and gets what it wants
Oh yeah.
by force if need be.
The funny
gonna
thing
happen.
is like I think I've heard more people talking just about it coming back, like talking shit about it coming back, and I haven't really actually heard anything about the actual variant or any of it. Just the fact that here comes the mask, here comes this. I've heard
I
grumblings.
know
because
it's coming from Canada. It's the only thing
Yeah.
I've heard is that it came from Canada.
I
Right.
guess there are more cases popping up right now. Fort Stewart already went back to a mask mandate.
Did
things
they
like
really?
that. Yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh, it's
Fort
coming,
Stewart went to
baby.
a mask mandate and they received a lot of flack. Like they put out the mask mandate and had
Yeah.
so many people going after him. U.S. Army,
doesn't
what the fuck,
fucking
Loomis?
work.
All that shit.
The vaccines don't fucking work. The vaccines
Vaccines-
don't fucking work.
CDC said that the masks don't work. They're like,
I
if you're
know.
sick, wear one. It's better to be safe than sorry, but they don't work.
Right. It's a
Why are we
placebo
still doing
effect.
this? Why the fuck are we still doing COVID? Can we
Meanwhile,
just stop?
the FDA did just rule that ivermectin is allowed to be used orally for COVID.
Yeah.
That it can't be
awesome.
banned
Hold on,
for
wait.
use of COVID.
Raise
Should we
your
go
hand
back?
if you took raise your hand if you took ivermectin while you had COVID.
Multiple times.
I did
Because I was around this motherfucker Mike in the same room yelling at each other, talking about sports, and then a couple hours later he's like, "Yo, I just tested positive for the COVID." And I was like, "All right, let me hit up my contact down south of the border and get some ivermectin in me." And
That's
you know
exactly
what?
what
Did it
happened.
work? Did it work?
I
Yes.
didn't get COVID once.
Really?
Oh, dude,
Damn.
my COVID
I didn't get it until I got the
fucking
shot.
experience was a 3-day sickness. COVID was a 3-day sickness. I had a sore throat. I had a fucking cough, and I was very, very tired. The tired stayed for several weeks.
Well,
but,
that's
like,
due to diet and obesity.
Well,
but
yeah. In terms of the sickness, it was
I feel
pretty
the same
simple. The only other thing that was gone that was affected was the taste, and that sucked. Losing your taste when you're a fat guy and you like
Right.
eating is fucking awful.
Mm-hmm. But I had
Agreed.
multiple run-ins where I was with Mike for like 3 hours doing a podcast, and we're spittling and yelling at each other. Didn't get it. Out golfing with
Making
Mike,
out, and we still didn't get it.
Spicy Mike, I'm out golfing in the same cart with him. A couple hours later, now we were outside, and allegedly the sun just burns this shit off. But still, we were basically making out the whole time, and I didn't get COVID.
That was the worst round of
shot.
golf.
I got that J&J shot because I had to get something. And I was like, I'm just going to get something that's not mRNA because I don't know about that shit. But also after that, I was like, not getting a booster, none of that shit. And I just did what the actual doctors said to do. If you listen to anyone other than just like the CDC, the doctors were like, get in better shape, work out a little bit, take vitamin C, vitamin D, because vitamin D was like a huge sign of like, if you were vitamin D deficient, you were like 80-90% chance of getting it. So
that's
I was
like
90%
of America.
Mm-hmm. I was taking my vitamin D. I was taking zinc, picolinate. Like I had this like regimen of pills I was taking, but I also was just getting healthier in general. Like probably the healthiest I felt in my life, just from taking vitamins and eating healthier and working out. Like imagine that shit.
The only thing I learned from that was I need to start drop shipping vitamin D and vitamins in this upcoming COVID that's about to kick off.
Yeah, that's exactly what we should do. We should
absolutely, or just go get yourself some super cheap, safe, and effective ivermectin from your doctor.
So are they? I wonder, is it going to be over the counter then, or what?
Probably not over the counter, but it is like one of the most used drugs in the world because it is so safe and effective for random shit. Different
like Doxy
and stuff.
It's like a fucking Doxy. It's like a wide spectrum antibiotic.
It's safer than Doxy though. Doxy is the one that gives you fucking weird dreams and shit, right?
Oh my god, it's so bad,
dude. I took doxycycline for 360 consecutive days.
Yeah,
that's not good for you. Thanks, Big Army.
I didn't take it once. I got it every time. I was like,
Thank you, IBS.
Dude, my unit was giving Article 15s if you got malaria. If you got malaria, not only did you end up with fucking malaria, you got an Article 15 on top of it because they gave you Doxy. So I took Doxy for all 360 days that I was deployed.
You know what's crazy to me too is like you go and talk to like a VA doc or a VA nurse or something like that, and then you tell them that they're like, they made you do what? They're like, yeah, you made me take. I had to take Doxy for my entire deployment. Like, you're not supposed to.
This isn't service connected.
Why don't? Yeah, right.
You're only supposed to take this for fucking 60 days in a row at the max.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's right around the corner, boys. It's all good though.
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, the real question is then.
I don't.
Well, you're sitting at home now. You don't have to do it now.
I have to go to. I have to go to class, and I go to a fucking film school. I don't know if you have any idea what film school demographics are like.
Oh,
but it's
you're going to be hugging trees
fucking
here
liberal.
in the next 2 years.
Yeah. Listen, I'm easily the most liberal of the three of us as it is. I got no problem taking that claim.
I can smell your classroom right now.
Yeah.
Just BO
smell like
and
patchouli
and no bras and just hard
patchouli.
patchouli, dank marijuana, and a lot of pink hair dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much pink and blue hair dye, vagina hats, and
Listen, not that there's anything wrong with that. Do your thing. I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
I'm not personally against the braless
I'm not
movement.
fucking wearing a mask at college. I'm not wearing a mask at college.
That's Coop's hard line in the sand. I'm not about all this other stuff, but if you want to go braless, you have to do what you have to do. This is America,
Yes.
all right?
Right.
Yeah.
Free the nipples.
Yeah, but
I'm the same way. Like I could care less what you're going to do personally. By all means, that's you. It's not my life. You do what you want to do. I'll support you up until you try to push your shit onto me.
Right. Yeah, like a mask.
And
not fucking put a mask back on.
That's where I'm at.
And that's, I think, where most of the American populace is right now. They just went through the numbers. I think that it was on Rogan's show. They were going through some numbers of like 95% of Americans or something like that got the first COVID vaccine. And then the second round of vaccines or boosters or whatever, it went down to like 40%.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been dwindling every time. And I think everyone knows that this is all bullshit. The boosters ain't doing shit. The vaccines ain't doing shit. There's the Cleveland Clinic actually has studies showing that you are more likely to get COVID the more boosters that you have.
Yeah, I seen that.
And the Cleveland Clinic, for those who don't know, is like a step barely below the Mayo Clinic, which is more recognizable name wise. So they're not bullshitting. They're not making this shit up, and they're not politicizing their answers to what's going on. I think that when it comes
Cleveland, it matters.
So listen, the Cleveland Clinic is amazing. That it is one of the most world-class hospitals you can possibly go to in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying it's bullshit.
Yeah. And look, I think that this go around, you're going to have mask mandates and things like that are going to come out from businesses.
Not doing it.
And I think that the American populace is actually going to stand up and say, I support you thinking that, but I'm just not going to shop here anymore, or I'm not going to go here anymore. I think you're going to have an actual resistance from people being like, why are you trying to sell us this bullshit again? We're not going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
For people like me, where my job will be put on the line, I'm going to fucking comply, unfortunately.
I'm in that same boat, man. I mean, I'm not government, but I directly work for the government still.
Sure.
So it does.
The reason I have the COVID vaccine is because of the government.
Yeah.
Right.
No boosters coming. I'm not doing it. Not fucking doing it, bro. I think that's the
same for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we might be past the whole forced vaccine thing. I don't know if that's going to be able to come back.
Nope.
Now look, if Biden wants to come out in his mumble jumble ramblings and if they're able to give me some sort of guarantee that this next round of boosters gives you like an extra inch of length and a half inch of girth, like sign me up, baby. I'll take 3 right now.
Honestly, I'll at that point, I'm in for a booster.
Yeah, we all could use a little boost.
Yeah,
I need
that actually
a lot.
sounds
I need like 4 of those boosters.
Booster.
Yeah.
I'm not doing COVID again. I'm not going back. I can't fucking do it.
Right.
Yeah. At some point in time, we just have to classify it as the common flu.
Yeah.
It's just another variant of the common
or
flu.
The slightly less common flu.
It's about to be as common.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Yeah. Matt, you got something for us here, buddy?
Don't worry when I bring it back.
I think that video, we're not doing the video, but I did want to talk about a situation. I want to know if you guys ever had this experience. So, get a phone call from the boy's school, and it's one of his teachers, and it's like, hey, your son, he told this boy that you were going to come to his house and beat him and his dad up. Like, this woman was being dead serious. I think she went to the same film school as you, Mike, but she, and I'm like, oh my.
She didn't understand that it wasn't real.
Right. So as the legend goes, basically Isaac told this kid, they started their little petty argument. Like, oh, my dad's stronger than your dad. No, my dad's stronger than your dad. So of course.
Kick your dad's ass.
Yeah. But then he goes a step further, and Isaac's like, well, my dad's going to come to your house tonight and beat you and your dad up. And I was like, and then the kid ran off, went and told the teacher, and then here we are facing charges. No, I'm just kidding. but not charges. But I found it very comical. And I honestly almost wouldn't put it past some of these fucking people nowadays for that to go too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, I could see a very limp-wristed parent being like, they're making threats of violence against me and my family. This is like domestic terrorism or something like that.
Exactly.
He's a boy. He is what, 9 at this point?
Yeah.
8. He's 8. So
8. Okay. So let's.
And to be fair, this was last year.
Context. Let's think about the context a little bit. And it's a couple of young boys being happy that they have the dads that they have, and they're talking a little bit of shit to each other, and then their dads get involved. Well, my dad's better than your dad because they're fans of their dads. There's no reason.
I probably could beat his dad's ass.
But in reality,
okay, yeah, sure. Listen, now based on the way you look right here, you look large. You're much taller than we are. But let's just lay it out there for everybody watching. If you don't know how big Matt is 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", 300.
I'm trying, Mike. I'm trying.
I'm
about 315 right now, right?
Okay, so Matt is a large motherfucker. Like, Matt is twice my goddamn size. He is a big fucking dude. So if Isaac's like,
average
my dad
size
can kick
penis,
your
though.
dad's ass,
Right?
Well,
proportional.
Hey,
look, if it's in your hand, it'll look the same size as Mike's. But if you're looking at us both naked, mine looks smaller.
All right.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, continue.
No, I was just curious, because I also, it just got me on the topic of how kids just put parents in shitty situations sometimes. Like where Jackson, we're sitting in line at like Walmart, and we rather larger woman in front of us getting her stuff on the conveyor belt, and he straight up looks at me. No, the same level of volume, nothing. Like, Dad, why is she so fat? I'm like, all right, we're gonna go to the self-checkout.
Boy, your autism's really showing today, bud. Golly.
Oh, fuck.
No,
So I know the girls are still a little young, but it's coming.
Oh no, Aubrey will fucking just say whatever comes to her mind. No problem. Like, what fuck? What? And if it's Lizzie that asked the question, she may actually say the word fuck. She is cursing at this point. There's no turning that one back, I don't think. Aubrey is still doing good, but she will just say fucking rude shit to everybody because she doesn't know it's rude. Graydon just doesn't talk.
Right.
But dude, the girls are capable of. I haven't been stuck in that situation. I do have a similar situation, but slightly different. Not my dad's gonna kick your dad's ass. But before I do that, Evo, you got anything that you want to interject into this? Because when I say what I'm gonna say, it's gonna steer the conversation in a different direction.
Okay. Well, I do not have kids right now. I've got my girls' kids that we're working on getting. So I haven't experienced any of that joy yet. I thought about it because we have been out with them in public, and then you'll see like some Downs or something walking by, and I'm like, oh, don't say anything. And I'm talking to myself because normally I'm like, like, look at them, but I can't help it. They're my people. But I imagine that the boys are going to be the same way, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. I probably am just going to laugh, and then if there's some sort of consequence that comes with it, like the person gets angry, I'm just going to laugh harder because I'm not as big as Matt, but I'm also not scared of anybody. Like if they want to get upset,
also not a small person.
Too bad. Like
you're what? You're 6'1", 245.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I am also cutting weight. I'm trying to get a little bit lower as well. Thick boy, but still voluptuous and thick in the right areas.
Super handsome.
I
was up to like 345. I was at like 345. Yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm only 5'7", so I'm just kind of a thick boy, shaped like my penis. Not very long and very thick.
Well, you know what they say. It's only the first 3 inches of the vaginal channel that really.
That's what they keep saying.
Yeah. So
as soon as I can get that extra 2 inches, it'll be very happy.
Greed. Exactly.
But okay, so the girls did not put me in a position like this, but Graydon has done something kind of similar. Like, the boys they're going back and forth. My dad can kick your dad's ass because they're proud of their dads. They want to like show off to people about who their dad is, right? So Graydon knows that I was in the Army. He's starting to get older, and those questions come up. And I think you guys all know the question is, have you ever killed anybody? That's a very heavy question, especially when you get asked by like a 9-year-old.
I did get asked this last week on my trip.
Last week, okay. So how did you respond? Good, bad? Like, obviously, probably didn't freak out, but
well, for a lot of people, obviously, it's a touchy subject, and
very much so.
I thought about when that conversation is going to come up, what I'm going to do, and my thought process was I was going to be like, hey, that's not a question that you should ask because you could upset people. Like it's emotional for some people. And I was like, however, I'm going to be honest with you boys and tell you the truth. In this situation, I was just kind of taken off guard, and I said, that's a conversation for when you're older. And they both were like, he did it. I was like, shit. Yeah. So hopefully that.
So Sherilyn asked me actually, and this was actually fairly recently. She brought it up, probably like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and she asked me, and it was like I don't even know how we got it, but it was very out of nowhere. And same exact kind of response I gave her was like, it's kind of you can't really just come out and say things like that. It's kind of depending on who you're talking to and the scenario and everything like that. You got to be careful with. You don't just ask people that question, And then it kind of steered off. So we never really had that conversation. It is something I think that, probably talk to him about at some point. I don't know. That's something that's like a father. You're like, do we need to talk about like, should we talk about it? Like, is it something that has to be talked about necessarily?
I was going to not talk about it at all unless I was asked. I was trying to come up with the response to how do I respond if and when I'm asked.
I still haven't figured out what the right answer to that one is, Mike, to be honest. But
I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you an interesting way that this one went down. So Graydon asked, and I told him the truth. That there were some scenarios where I was put in where I fired and things happened, right? Yes, I killed people, right? But I didn't want to say, because it's not a normal thing. It's not a comfortable thing. I would hope
you don't want to normalize it and make it nothing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because it is a big deal, especially to somebody who's never, hopefully, going to be in that situation, right?
Right.
That they will not ever understand what that feeling feels like. You try to convey that, and but I explain it, and everything is good, and we're on our way to fucking football practice. You know what, Graydon told all of his buddies on the line and basically everybody on the fucking team that day at practice because he wanted to brag about his dad, about being a badass. Oh, God.
My daddy ended bloodlines.
Yeah. My daddy unalived people. And then that ride awkward. Home. Yeah, that ride home from practice was like, okay, so apparently I did not do a good job of, of conveying the importance of the question that you're asking. Like, because it's not private. A cool thing. It's not a fun thing. It's private. Now, obviously, we're sitting here doing a podcast where we're talking about this. So it's private enough that it's not that we will share it if and when we want to with whoever we want to, but that's not your story to share. That's not your story to tell. So that kind of situation where it's like, my dad will do this. I felt that a little bit in that situation because I had like fucking 4 kids come up during practice. We're like, Coach Mike, have you killed somebody?
Did you actually do your security online for the coaching position?
Yeah. Are you sure you're allowed to be here?
It's a little different for me again because I don't have kids to deal with right now, but I get the question a lot because I'm still teaching students that are coming through doing our jobs who could be put in that situation.
And they're kids, dude. Those are kids.
They are.
They're 18. They're fucking 18 years old.
Right out of mama's basement.
But I mean, in reality, it has gotten around that I have quite a few engagements and more than a lot of the other instructors around there, even green suits and stuff. And so that they'll hear little rumors and then they'll ask me like on breaks, be like, "Hey, did you do this?" Like, yeah, I did. What do you want to know? And I'll tell them, I'll be like, be careful who you ask. I was like, it doesn't bother me at all because this, to me, I am educating you for your job.
Right.
And I want to set you on the best foot forward possible with it. But it does kind of desensitize you to, like, if I were to be asked in public, I don't know that I would react the same way that I react now, where I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, sure.
It's a very personal question. It is a very, very personal question.
Because it doesn't bother me to say yes, but also who is anyone to know? Like, it's no one else's business type thing.
Right.
So,
well, and what I find about it is, not to get too deep with it, right? Is for the most part, all three of us have done things that we, that normal people haven't done, and I think that it's easy for us. Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah. Wasn't talking about that, but yeah, same thing though, right? Is that cinnamon? Oh, I can't.
No, it's not cinnamon. I can promise you, you fat ass. It's not cinnamon.
Well, anyways, back onto it, right? It's easy to talk with people who can relate and laugh and stuff like that. And I find that it I don't know if it's a good thing necessarily, because then we normalize it in our own minds, right? To where, but you almost have to, because what are you gonna do? What's the other option? To let it eat
bottle
you
it up and let it be a pit in your stomach,
right?
And then that's how you get.
And it
cancer.
comes out one night when you're really drunk at the bar, No, but in all
you get
honesty,
into a fight with some random guy or your wife.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think, like, for me, especially the number one thing I look at is, like, I don't really put too much thought into it after the fact, right? Because that is when you start going down dark hallways. You start thinking about like the details of what your decision has implemented moving forward for somebody
ramifications
in a group of
outside
people.
of your scope of purvey, like their family and things like that.
That's when it gets tough, I think. And I haven't had too many conversations about that kind of stuff, and it is what it is. Like I'm like you. I mean, it's perfectly fine, but some people aren't. Some people can't. You know what I mean? They can't, like, get past those thoughts. So,
and I think it's the context in which you probably get asked that question and what you're capable of talking about and not capable of talking about.
Yeah.
Like we talk about this here now, even with the recording running, because we've all been there. We all know, we all can have some reverence for the act that we're talking about. If you have that same thing happen in a different situation, just because you're okay with it doesn't mean you're okay with it there. That scenario, that situation, that really makes a difference.
Yeah. No, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Also, guys, man, I told you guys, I warned you, I was going to take this thing off the fucking rails at one point tonight. That was going to cause a ruckus, and I think we got some right there.
Yeah. Well, and
too.
it had to get all depressing. I blame Matt.
I wasn't trying to.
No. It's good. That's a conversation. That's one of the reasons that we have this show, right? Is to have this conversation.
Absolutely.
This is our own form of therapy for a bunch of fucking degenerates like us.
I tell you what, it really is.
All right. Well, here's some more therapy. Speaking about drinking and stuff like that.
I was really hoping for a shot to the nuts here.
It's not a shot to the
mood
nuts.
back up.
It's not a shot to the nuts, but this is a little video of someone who had a nice night out, it seems, and ended up somewhere that you wouldn't expect to be going to bed.
Oh. Is it on?
Yep, it's on.
Alex.
Oh no.
Alex. What are you doing?
Oh, like I get sleeping in the tub, but not with the water on.
That's how you wake up. That's how you not wake up.
Potentially.
Yeah, it's how you
So-
you unalive yourself real quick sometimes with that situation.
That's more of a prompt for us to say. I'm sure that we've all had our times when we have had more libations than we maybe should have and ended up in places that we either don't remember getting there or something like that, which usually tends to have a fun backstory to it. I'll do two for me. One was second day of my sophomore year of college. We had a rager our first night, and I remember waking up half naked in my backyard to a slight sprinkle of rain is what woke me up. And I was like, how the hell did I get here? That was fun. Also, I got accidentally roofied, which I don't know if y'all remember this or not. I don't think you were with me at the time, but I've told this story many times where New Year's went out to Bisbee, and I had heard in the past from people put roofies in drinks out in Bisbee. Well, we're bar hopping with the group I'm with, and we'll buy drinks at one bar, and then there will be some chicks there that the chicks we're with aren't jiving with, and they're like, we got to leave. And they just bought all these drinks. So I started just pounding drinks. In reality, I had way more than I should have, but I can hold my own pretty well. We ended up getting to our final bar, at least the final bar I remember, and I started to lose motor function, but I was completely conscious. Like,
you sure you just didn't put it in the wrong cup?
Yeah. I was completely conscious. Like, I felt like I was trapped in my body where I like couldn't move. I went to I got to the bathroom and started making myself puke because I was like, something's wrong with me. And I didn't realize that it was a roofie, but I thought maybe I somehow got alcohol poisoning or something like that, like super quick, because I've never experienced that. Turns out I talked to my doctor later. He's like, oh yeah, you were roofied. Like, that's one of the main things that is like, you'll be aware that everything's happening, but your body can't react.
So they are mentally conscious then.
Pretty much, apparently. And okay. Lacey, we see her walking around in the back there. She just needs to bang on something 3 times and we'll know. But yeah, I ended up getting basically carried out of this bar by the people I was with, put in a van, taken home, and I was completely drunk. It looked like I had just gotten out of a pool in the clothes I was in because my body was shitting out sweat. And I spent the night in a cold shower with that on me, trying to keep my body temperature down because I thought I was like really fucking in trouble. Other than that,
all right,
it's been pretty clean for me.
So I have 2 stories as well. So my which one was first? Shit, my first one. Both of these happened in college. The first one, I believe, was my freshman year. I was, freshman football player, going out drinking, getting shit housed. So I went to this college on a football scholarship, but I kind of recruited myself there because my girlfriend was getting a scholarship on softball team. So I ended up going out there with her, going through a bad breakup. So I'm just getting fucking pissy drunk because I am an 18-year-old with a broken heart. There's nothing better to do than just drink your life away. And when that happens, you break up with that girl and you're shithoused and you want to get back at her. What do you try to do? Try to get laid. So I went back to the dorms with some woman, woman now, girl at the time, fucking 18 years old.
I was gonna say, let's just make clear legal.
18 years old, legal.
No roofies.
Yeah, no. And I think that I'm gonna get laid. And that's about the time that I black out, thinking that I'm walking into the dorms to go get laid.
It's also the first time Mike got pegged.
It might have been. I mean, fucking that's entirely possible with where I woke up, because I woke up. Anybody who's been to a college knows that there's a room on basically every floor of the dorms that has nothing but extra beds and fucking frames for beds in it. So that way, if something fucking breaks, you can go into that floor and get it. I woke up in that room. I do not know how it's possible that I got in there. And it wasn't even my fucking floor.
Yeah.
So
as far as
Maybe someone put you there.
probably.
Did anything
do you
hurt when you
recall
woke
going
up?
back with this chick though?
I went back with her. We got to I remember getting back and being at the fucking dorms. I almost said barracks. Being at the dorms.
Did you ever ask her what happened after this? Or did you know her that well?
So I didn't really know her that well.
Oh, well.
But you did see her live afterwards, though.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make
Edit
sure.
it out. Edit it out.
Cut that part. No,
You're just going to see a quick splice, and then Mike's going to say, I've never had any weird things happen while I've been drinking. Not once.
Second time. God damn. I think I just forgot that story. Thinking about splicing out that portion. I hear the kids, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got one, Matt, a story for
ahead,
us.
Matt.
Well, Mike tries to remember
Honestly,
his.
as far as aside from the typical, sleeping on the toilet, basically letting those dinosaurs flow. It was early in my drinking career, probably about 18-ish, and a big bottle of Wild Turkey, and with my cousins, and nothing crazy happened necessarily, but the falling asleep part was probably, fall moving into wintertime, Michigan. So it gets kind of cold. And somehow I woke up in the bed of my cousin's truck outside in like shorts and a t-shirt, thought I had pneumonia and that I was going to die because I had I don't even know how I got out there. I don't know what happened at all. Just woke up out there, and he had I remember it very vividly. We had the plastic bed liner that had like the ripple in it, right? So I had lines going down my face, across my body. I was just sore everywhere. It was miserable, absolutely miserable.
Yep.
So,
hey,
I don't remember my other story, but I do. Matt did just jog my memory on something I used to purposely do, not randomly wake up somewhere, but used to purposely do while I was in the Army, living in the barracks. I'd get shit housed. Could not go sleep on my bed because it immediately get the spins. So I would go lay in our bathroom, much like this woman thought. I'm going to lay in the tub. Would lay in the bathroom, and there was just one tiny little step up into the step-in shower. That was my pillow. And then that way, when I threw up, I could just stay asleep and vomit directly into the shower, which I will then turn on the water in the morning and flush the vomit down the drain.
Efficiency, man. We're thinking ahead. That is some Boy Scout mentality shit. That's what makes us different. Built different.
Yeah, that was it was wild. Don't do that. It was not a great way to wake up either.
I can't imagine the crick in the neck. I couldn't do that these days.
Honestly, man, like it was about the perfect fucking height that it wasn't too bad. And I was gonna wake up feeling like shit regardless until I started drinking the next morning because I was still, 22, 23 years old at the time. It could pull that off.
Nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, those good old days.
All righty. So who else got something for us here to go over?
So I got one. Continuing to talk about the Army and just the craziness of it. And we've had a very, very deep talk. One of my favorite veteran content creator is this guy, and he's so funny. There we go. Maybe. Have you guys ever seen Mandatory Fun Day?
Yes.
Is it a video?
The woman likes to send me videos from him all the time.
Yeah. Because it's super relatable. and I'm just going to play the video and all the shit that we talked about tonight.
We need to
I feel
bring
like it
people
fits.
into this organization and make them extremely devoted. Yeah, I mean, the things that we would need people in the military to do, they're going to have to be devoted. It's not going to be a cult. Yeah, you're the only one that brought that up. I wasn't even thinking that. Now this conversation's taking a weird turn. We're going to make everybody stand in big groups and say certain things together at the same time. Oh, yeah, that's not culty. We're going to force people to do extremely difficult physical tasks together, bonding them through trauma. You're going to trauma bond people on purpose. No, we don't say trauma bond. We're going to call it shared hardship. Okay, calling it something else doesn't change what it is. We're going to have traditions and rituals that seem strange to outsiders but make perfect sense to us. This is getting more cult-like by the second. Is there anything normal we're going to do? We're going to let people leave the organization if they want to. Oh, that actually does sound normal. But when they try to leave, we're going to harass them. We're going to tell them that they'll fail outside the organization, and then we'll never stop calling them to bring them back in. You're insane. I don't want to be part of this. You're already in. You just re-enlisted for 3 years. Oh, God. Oh, God, he's right.
All right. So are there any other, so we talked about some more heavier shit earlier. Are there any crazy things that your units used to do? It's like, it has to do this. It has to be this way, that it became a cult-like following. Because I have one, and it was from my very first unit. I still will recognize random sticker. Like, I have seen random stickers around all sorts of army bases that is this old former unit that became very cult-like. So you guys got anything?
Not really.
I mean,
I haven't been a part of any big units other than, Matt and I were attached to special operations at one point. But I mean, the unit I'm a part of now and was when I got out of the Army has a propensity to being dumbasses. That's
Right.
well known throughout the aviation community.
I mean,
I don't know.
Everybody in my last unit they were just backstabbers, really. That's about it.
I thought I was going to get a little more traction with this one. So, like, for me, my first unit, man, I was in 5-1 Cav up in Alaska, attached to Delta Troop. Dude, I remember being with all the other Cav Scouts. Cav Scouts think they're hot shit. I just was happy that I was in a unit where I was going to be able to do maybe some cool shit. Cav unit, right? Dude, it was so weird. Cav Scouts want to be infantry so bad. And they're going to be pissed when they fucking hear this. But the entire time, I loved being in Cav. But they had a motto, MSH, make shit happen. Like, and people were getting MSH tattoos, and it's not a unit logo tattoo. Like, we've seen bad military tattoos in the past, like all the time. It's MSH, make shit happen. It became like this mantra for not only the unit, but for literally what people did outside of their lives. People were getting tattoos. It was crazy, that MSH thing. But don't get me wrong, I love the motto. Just go out there, figure it out, make shit happen. But my God, it got to an absurd level of like, yeah, that's what we do here. There's a way of life. Cult.
Yeah, I don't think we had any of that. Like I said, the closest I got is probably my current organization, which again, our claim to fame is dysfunction and doing stupid stuff. But we don't have any cool tattoos or anything.
I think the 10th Mountain, they like you said, I could caveat right onto that is we just like to do shit for no reason, right? Like there's no reason at all, but we're gonna go ahead and put camo netting on our ACHs. We're gonna tie them to the top of our ACHs so that we can be camouflaged on the fob, and everybody had to have it. So I mean, of course, I can understand, the infantry going out and stuff like that, but it was something that the Sergeant Major wanted for everybody, and we all had it. Tie that right
It's
along
like
with
the face paint going to the field.
Yeah, exactly. PT belts, those were my favorite too. But I think that was army wide. People kept getting hit by rotor wings and shit.
Yeah, all the time people had PT belts out on the fob, like, hey, we're in camouflage, so you can't see us. But by the way, here I am.
That was the best part. Like, put this camo netting on your ACH so you can be camouflaged, and then wear a PT belt.
Yep,
because that makes
100%.
sense.
All right.
Well,
so I'm gonna go. It's been good talking about all this stuff, but we obviously want to keep this a little bit shorter. We're already an hour and 20 in, so we'll wrap it up for y'all. It's been good talking.
We got topics
nostalgic
for
stories.
The next show.
We do have topics, and I like this idea. We'll just keep building topics, and we'll make a list, and that way we never run out of shit to talk about.
And I just want you all to know, it took everything out of me to not bring up the whole Gary Busey thing that's been going on TikTok. If you haven't seen that stuff in the buttered sausage, it's fucking. There's so many good one-liners in there that I just want to add in my daily.
I have seen that one.
I don't buy honey. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips. You got to learn how to eat a burrito from the back.
I feel bad for Gary, man. But
I didn't even know he was still alive, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure it's a deep fake.
Yeah.
I've seen some things where they're saying it's a deep fake now. But
I hope so, man.
I just want to think
with AI nowadays, dude.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to get down that rabbit hole.
There's a tie-in to the last show. Tie-in to the last one. So we'll find a way to tie in the next one to this one.
All righty.
Perfect.
Guys, let's get out of here. So we were talking about different ways to kind of sign off the show last week, and I didn't really like any of the things that we came up with. But I think we have something. And guys, Evo, Coop, thank you guys so much for doing this, for being here. Being able to have this conversation, man, it's great. It's something that we need more in the military. We are lucky enough that we can call our buddies. We get to talk to our buddies once every couple weeks, but not everybody has that. So everybody who watches the show, probably a veteran, reach out to a buddy, say hello, say something, reach out to somebody. Don't let you or them become one of 22. But guys, thank you very much. I have nothing else. Gentlemen, any final words?
No. Until next time.
Hell yeah. Keep being raunchy.
Yeah. Keep it dirty.
Yeah.
See you.